Okay, folks, now that we've created the files for our web map, we need to get it hosted online. So, some folks um, have an account with their own hosting organization. Um, they have their own hosting service that they pay for by month. So, those folks will host their web maps on that kind of infrastructure. But for us, we're wanting to just find a free service that is able to host our web map, so that we can get a link and be able to share and display it. So we're going to use GitHub today. So make sure that you have to download and install GitHub for desktop. So GitHub for desktop is going to um, get the files from your computer and build a repository. And then you also need login credentials for the browser-based piece of GitHub, because that's how you're going to actually publish your site. So, just a little bit of housekeeping first. So remember that when you first downloaded your web map, so you go in, then there's this folder called QGIS 2 Web, and then you get the actual files that are going to build your website. We need to go ahead and pull these out, and it's safest just to just go ahead and copy all of these, go back out to your downloads, make a new folder. You could call it real web map, blah blah blah, whatever you want to call it. That's what you're going to actually be uploading to GitHub. So we want to pop those in there, just because we want to make sure there's no other directories, there's no other folders in our way to get to these files. So that's what we've done. Okay, so now we can go to GitHub Desktop, and we're going to add a local repository. So that means we're going to build one on our computer here. For the path, we're going to choose this folder that we just made that has all of our website information in it. We're going to press open. So currently it is not a GitHub repository, so we want to create a repository using these files. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to leave the name like this. Name it whatever you want. This is my Uganda land surface temperature data. Okay, and we do want to initialize this repository with README, leave everything else as default, create the repository. Okay, so now we have created the repository locally on our machine. So now we're going to publish this repository. So we're going to send it to the GitHub website. So we say publish the repository. You don't need to keep the code private. Again, name it whatever you want. We're going to publish that to the GitHub website. So the raster data I'm using here, they are pretty large pixels, so it's not particularly dense. The larger the map layers, the more time this will take. So it could take quite a while, and there is a limit. I think it's 100 megabyte limit. So there is a limit on how big of a map you can upload to GitHub. So okay, now we can go to our website, our GitHub website. So we'll go to our homepage, GitHub homepage, and here you can see that. So this just happened, right? The data set repository has come in. So we can get into that repository, which is what we're doing now. Okay, so you can see the files that we have loaded up there. And so what we want to end up doing is go into settings, and go down to pages here because we want to end up creating a web page. So we are already inside of our project here, right? This repository that's got this crazy name. So we're going to say main, right? And we're just going to say save. And so basically we're saying take the files that are inside of this repository and make a website with it. And so it did. Now beware. So if I click on this, so great, it pulled right up, which is great. But sometimes you might have to wait a while, depending on how big your website is, or sorry, how big the data are. So if I highlight this, right, and I post it, there you go. So this is now a live web map that you can share with anyone that you want.